Good afternoon, campus. Welcome back to R&R with your boy Paul.
Your boy Gabe.
And Maral, we're back.
So, guys, we got a great show today. We have a special guest that Maral could actually introduce him for us.
We have a really cool guest today, and he's a sergeant in the Marines. His name is Max Zappata, and we're excited to kind of like learn more about him. You guys can learn more about the Marines and what the military is like in his life. He served a tour in Afghanistan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How many other deployments?
Just one. This Afghanistan.
One.
Yep.
Yeah, and can you tell us where you were stationed?
Initially, I was stationed in San Diego in Miramar.
Mm-hmm.
I was with the Ospreys of VMM 161, and I was there pretty much for 4 years.
Yeah.
For my whole tour, so it was pretty awesome. It was definitely a good time.
Yeah. What made you want to join the Marines?
Initially, I just really wanted a challenge in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted discipline. Definitely wanted to improve my my chances of going to school, and also just making my family proud.
Yeah.
So that's that was the main focus, was just honoring my family and my last name.
That's impressive. I'm sure your family's very proud.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So
so you joined right out of high school?
no, actually I didn't. I right out of high school I didn't really know where I was going. I was kind of confused. I really didn't know what I was going to do, but I actually joined when I was 22, so I was a little bit older. I think that was a good time for me to join, because I knew at that moment that I was more mature.
Yeah.
And I was more focused on where I wanted to go. So I think it was a good decision on my part of joining at that age. It was the right time.
And you served for 4 years?
Yes, for 4 years. I did 4 years. I joined in April 12th of 2009, and I got out April 12th, 2013. So.
And you're in reserves right now, right?
Well, inactive, inactive
inactive
reserve.
reserves.
Yeah. So.
Can you talk a little about basic training? Paris Island, I know you guys have to train down there.
That was my question exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Paris Island. Well, that's where it all begins.
Yeah.
So initially, you have to fly to Paris Island. So everyone is on the plane nervous. Most of the guys that I was with were from New York, Queens, Brooklyn, and Manhattan. So we're going there. We're all nervous. So from that point, once you fly to North Carolina, you get on the bus, and then the bus ride is the beginning of the end, so to speak. So once you get there, the bus stops. Everyone's nervous. It's dark 'cause it was at night, and the drill instructors come on the bus, and then at that point, that's it.
Wow, there's no going back.
There's no going back. It's game on at that point. So from the jump, you're getting screamed at, yelled at. They start processing you, seeing if you have flat feet, things like that. They evaluate you just to make sure.
What do you mean by flat feet?
Because you have to wear certain boots if you do have flat feet. It's just things like that. This basic stuff that they just need to be informed of, because they're just not sure. They don't know. They haven't really looked at you, none of the drill instructors. So they make sure that you have the right equipment for boot camp for the 3-month stint that you're there. So it was very intense.
Yeah, I heard that's one of the most intense trainings in terms of the Army. I know a couple guys there that they went into the Marines, and they said I think it was like 13 weeks, was it?
Yes, yeah.
About 13 weeks. They said it was absolutely insane, the workouts they did. I remember one of my friend Gio. He was he was telling me that some of the workouts that they have, I just couldn't complete them. I don't know how people.
Yeah.
That must be insane the first couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, first couple of weeks is pretty crazy. They start you off at 5 o'clock in the morning, waking you up. You start. Initially the first 2 weeks is just like an introductory week. So they get you used to waking up, going in formations, marching. Nothing too crazy. They're just it's just like the basic stuff that you're gonna have to be efficient towards the end. But everything is just slowly. It's a slow progression. But at the same time, it's intense, because you're getting yelled at. The instructions are very fast, so you just got to be constantly moving, thinking on your feet. But you get used to it, like anything else.
Can you leave? I mean, some guys, if they find that this is not what they want, can you leave?
It's very difficult to leave. So they it's when you're there, it's because you wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So producing excuses at that point it's not something they want to hear.
It's frowned upon too, right?
Right. It is frowned upon. You can leave if you want to, if you choose to, but they work with you. Drill instructors work with you. It's not like it's where they're brutal and they just treat you like crap. they'll work with you. But if it's like a medical reason, like if it says no kidding, like you have respiratory issues or something like that, then they're understanding. But they want everyone to graduate.
Yeah.
That's the concept of it, is producing Marines and sending them to the fleet, or and also deploying them. So they're very, granted, it's the training's hard, but at the same time, they're there for you. So they're understanding. If you do decide to leave, but it is frowned upon. So
can you talk about like one of the, like, if you remember any, like the most draining thing that they made you do in boot camp?
Ooh, God, the most draining. Well, I would honestly say the Crucible. Crucible is definitely.
Yeah, I remember that. I have a friend, and he said something. It was like the Crucible.
We're not talking about Arthur Miller, are we?
Can you explain to us what that is?
Well, it's a 3-day event. It's towards the end. It's towards the end of the phases. It's really the rite of passage.
Yeah.
For becoming a Marine, because at the end you actually do receive the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor from your drill instructors, and it's that is where you want to be, at the end. But in the beginning, what they do is they get you set up. So you have to go on a hump, what they call it, which is you're just hiking to the location of where the Crucible is going to be. So you get all your gear ready. So it's 80 pounds of gear. Boom. You got your rifle, the whole nine. So your entire company actually goes out. Boom. So you guys are going, walking, so you're marching. Boom. And usually they sing like a cadence, things like that, to motivate you. So you get in there. Initially, the going there's not too bad.
Yeah.
But then while you're there, you gotta shoot. You gotta shoot your rifle on the shooting line. So you're shooting your weapons. They're also teaching you tactics, formations of when you're patrolling, things like that. So everything's moving fast. You're moving fast. Everything's going. You're not getting much sleep. Not at all, really. So you're tired. You're pretty much you're not really at the right frame of mind, because everyone's just so exhausted, and that's for 3 days straight. So it's definitely very difficult. Towards the end, you're just dead tired. You just don't want to move anymore.
Yeah.
And the last hike, the last hump is usually about I'd say about 5 miles.
Wow.
So you're walking, so everyone's pumped up, ready to go, and then they usually send you to where the parade deck is at, where you actually do graduate, and that's where you receive your Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. And I'm telling you, that was a rough 3 days, but it was good. It was definitely a humbling experience.
Yeah, but in the end, it's all worth it, I guess, when you get that uniform.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. You have to earn it. It's not something that they just give it to you. You really do have to earn it. And I'm glad that I went through it. It definitely has taught me a lot, so.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Now, I want to know, like, what is it exactly that they feed the Marines, like, in boot camp, or what has your diet been, basically? Okay, well, at boot camp, you go to chow hall. The chow hall there is, they have, basic nutrients for you. Actually, the food's not bad in the chow hall. Not bad at all, to be honest with you. Yeah, contrary to Hollywood, right?
Exactly, contrary to Hollywood. The food's not bad. You can't I can't complain,
Good.
But at the chow hall, everything is very regimented. So they're watching you. Those drill instructors never they never turn their back on you. They're always watching. And if your drill instructors that are assigned to you aren't watching you, other drill instructors are watching you. So you have to be on your P's and Q's at all times. So when you walk in the chow hall, everyone's on a straight line, waiting to get served. Once you get served, no one's talking to each other. You cannot speak to another recruit at that time. Can't. There's no talking. So everything's quiet. Boom. So once you sit down, that's where that's where they could play games with you. Why? It's because you have to keep your back straight, right? One hand has to be on your knee, and the other hand has to be on the spoon, fork, whatever you're using, and you're eating. You're looking straight ahead. You're not looking around, and you cannot speak to anyone next to you or in front of you. Nothing. Okay. So when you're eating, things like that, boom, that's it. That's what you're doing. It's eating. That is it. And now if you decide, hey, you know what? Let me look around, or let me start moving my eyes around. Drill instructor catches you. Believe me, they'll toss your food right there. They'll throw out your food or whatever. They'll play games.
So even if you're tired and you just start daydreaming and you look to the left, they'll throw your food.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no daydreaming. Okay, you have to be focused at all times, and you're getting screamed at, and they'll scream at you right there, and embarrass you in front of everybody. That's the other thing too, is if you're someone that doesn't like getting embarrassed, boot camp's not for you, because you will get embarrassed.
I guess not.
Oh no, it's intense. It's definitely an intense environment at all times. There's no time where it's where you'll feel relaxed unless you're sleeping. Other than that, No, there's no part of it or no part of the training evolution that's where you'll be relaxed.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it sounds like to me. And now, do you have like a highlight, something that you really want to share with us?
See, I really want to share with you, I guess. Well, I would say, man, I've gone through so many experiences. I would say, for anyone that's let's say that's thinking of going into the military or going into like the Marines, things like that, I would like to share with them, just focus on the end goal. Focus on where you want to be in the future. Because Marine Corps, Air Force, doesn't matter what branch of service you join. I'm telling you, it's just a great opportunity for everyone. I think for me, I've learned a lot, especially when I was out in Afghanistan. Afghanistan was definitely intense time for me. For everybody, because everyone's stressed out.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen. I would say something that I could definitely share with you guys that was pretty intense was let's see here. I would say Marine combat training, I think, was probably a pretty intense time. Why? Because you're shooting different weapons, and and it's a time where everything's moving real fast. It's only a month long. It's after boot camp. You go to Marine combat training or SOI for infantry guys, and you're learning different weapon systems. 50 cal, M16 again. 240 saw, things like that. So it's kind of crazy at that time. And it's just they're pumping you with information. And you just got to produce, and you're hiking, and every day it's just constantly just hiking up a hill, shooting, and then once you're done shooting, you moving, going back. You have to make sure the barracks is squared away. Everything has to be clean, crisp. There's no lacking on that. If you think that I don't have to make my bed today type deal, no.
Wow.
Everything has to be on point every day, uniforms, everything.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy,
Well, why don't we take a music break and then we'll come back and talk about Max's experience in Afghanistan and learn a little bit about his deployment there.
Yeah, guys, we'll hit you with this one house song. It's called House of God.
Now let me tell you something. We're still beautifying God's house. I need 100 people to write me this week. And when you send something for God's house, God's gonna put a miracle in your house. House of God. In your house. the house of God. Now let me tell you something. We're still beautifying God's house. I need 100 people to write me this week. And when you send something for God's house, God's gonna put a miracle in your house. The house of God. In your house. The house of God.
Alright guys, we're back. We were just talking with Max off the air, and we were just talking about going to Vegas and having a good time. San Diego's a great place to go.
Yeah.
So like, unfortunately you guys missed out on that, but we got some more
yeah, so we were going to talk about his deployment in Afghanistan. Can you just talk about like what were you excited to go, or were you nervous, and like how did your family feel when they heard that you were getting deployed there?
Okay, well, my family was very nervous. You know, my he's a police officer around here, so you know he was definitely very nervous for me because he knows what can happen.
Yeah.
In this, in the sense of the worst case scenario type deal. But for me, I was excited to go because that's something that you strive to do because you want you want to deploy. You don't want to stay back in garrison. You want to go out there. You want to present yourself in a professional manner at all times. And go there and maybe try to make a difference. You never know. Maybe something your actions could possibly, help the the people around there because our main focus is the hearts and minds.
Yeah.
You want to win the hearts and minds of the people. So that's where I was wanted to do. I just wanted to go there, present myself in a professional manner, and serve my country. And that was my main focus. So I was actually I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
But I was there with the guys that I've worked with for 4 years, so I was very comfortable.
You trusted.
Yeah, I trusted. That's the one key thing. You need trust. You need to trust the Marines that are right next to you. So.
What was your occupation in the military?
I was 6046, which is maintenance admin, but I was also a data analyst as well.
Okay.
So it was awesome. It's a cool job, in the sense of you get to deal with different aspects of the aircraft.
Yeah.
Because I dealt with the Ospreys, so you deal with like the engines, prop rotors.
Wow.
You're dealing with it's about 360 components within the aircraft that you have to keep track of, engine times and all that stuff. And it was really cool because you get to really see what it really takes to build an engine and an aircraft, and you get to deal with representatives from Bell Boeing and Rolls Royce. So it's really cool. You get to get
off the record, if my car ever breaks down, can I call you up to fix it?
Yeah, I got you.
That sounds like a plan, I think, right?
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
So
were you able to like interact with civilians there and like kids?
Well,
or no?
For civilians, no, you weren't allowed to interact with them because a lot of them were a little shady. They would try to like sell you like their freaking homegrown alcohol and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
that old country stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, people get sick. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, things like that. You know, they said, you know, just don't interact with them, stay away from them. And you know, you just don't know their intentions. You know, you're in their country. It's different. You know,
Exactly.
you're not back in the States. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, so you know, everything was, you know, stick with your own and do your job, and that's it. And it's, you know, and go back, you know, and you know, go to sleep or whatever. There was no days off. When you were boots on ground, when you were there, that day until the end of the deployment, you had no days off. So Monday, or when I say you started, till the next whatever day that you had to leave, that was your day off.
Yeah.
So there's no days off. No such
And you were
thing.
there for how many months?
7 months.
7 months.
7 months.
And give us a little description of the nice low weather they got over there in Afghanistan.
Oh, gosh.
Oh wow, wonderful! Yeah, it was extremely hot during the summertime.
Right.
We went towards the end of the summer, so around August. So it was still pretty hot during the daytime, and at night it would cool off a little bit, but sometimes it would get really cold, especially in October, freezing. I mean, it was horrible, especially if you had like guard duty.
Oh yeah.
Terrible. And I was on the night shift, so it was just
Oh, my
not.
gosh.
Did you have a survival blanket or something to keep you warm?
No survival blanket. You had gloves. You had
Yeah.
gloves with heat warmers in them, and that was about it. There was no blankets for you when you were on duty, you know. So,
Yeah.
and then you had your, you know, rifle on you, and you're alert at all times. And you know, usually they will have officers or warrant officers checking up on you, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, not, you know, gaffing off or, you know, listening to music, you know, stupid stuff like that. So, you know, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You can't, you know, just do what you want or whatever. It wasn't like that.
So it's really a 24/7 job, like you were saying.
Oh, absolutely. 24/7, you know, every day. And, you know, there's no, I really need a day off type deal. It's not like that. It's every day, every single day, you got to be on high alert.
Can you talk a little bit about the food and
Well,
the food you guys got down there? Because I've tried like military food.
Because we
and
love
it's-
food.
Yeah. But have you guys ever tried like military food for fun?
No, I have not.
Nah,
No,
never.
it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad.
Yeah, the MREs.
Yeah.
You're talking about the MREs,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of them, you know, you get used to it sometimes, you know, depending on what you like, chicken, things like that. But initially, it's, you know, it doesn't taste that great. You know, it's like compact food. You know, it definitely messes with your digestive system because you really don't you don't go to the bathroom. You know, for a couple days, because that's the purpose of it. So you don't go to the bathroom.
Oh wow! I
Yeah,
didn't know
because
that.
if you're let's say you're on, you know, in a area where there's, you know, you're on the field for a long period of time, those MREs will prevent you from, you know, going to the bathroom, you know, that often. So, and then if you do, it's painful. So
Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
that turned my world upside down just
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So it you know, but other than that, you know, eventually, like anything else, you get used to it. You know, so it's not you know, it's too bad. But you know, it takes some time to get used to. That's for sure.
You guys have easy access to like water and stuff over there, right?
Yes, yeah, when
That's okay.
Yeah, that was, you know, definitely a big thing is water all the time. Always concentrate. I'm talking about if you're not drinking 12 bottles of water a day, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You have to constantly keep drinking water. So that's one thing they emphasize all the time. It's water. You know. So another thing too, which is awesome in when you're, you know, Afghanistan, things like that, is you could, you know, since you're always constantly working, at certain points of your day, you can also go to the gym, things like that, you know, so which is pretty cool. So, you know, at least you have that to look forward to,
Right,
you know,
right.
during
Yeah.
your day, you know, during your day. So it wasn't too bad, you know. You could, you know, you could get through the day, you know, with your other buddies, you know. So
And talk about like, were you able to talk to your parents a lot or your loved ones? when you were down
yeah,
there?
initially in the first 2 weeks, not too much. You know, because, you know, everything you're transitioning, you know, you're getting used to the environment of what you need to do and the scheduling. That's a big thing. Is your schedule when you're on shifts, when you're off shift, things like that. But after that, you can talk. You know, you can Skype. If you brought a laptop with you, you know, you could Skype with them. It was no problem.
Oh,
You know,
awesome.
my command didn't have any issues with that at all. So
That's good.
they were cool. They're very understanding. Like my commanding officer and my sergeant major, really, really good guys. You know, and you know, whoever's you know, underneath them now, they're very, very lucky. So. Yeah.
And talk about like being away for 7 months, especially 3 months after boot camp, and coming back and just like relaxing at home. Was there like a difference or something? You know, you heard a new song and you were like, "Oh, how long has this been out?" You know, and
Yeah.
talk about that, like not knowing like the news has changed, and you know.
Yeah, that's the other weird thing too, is because you get lost in those 3 months, you know, so everything's kind of like you're falling behind. I remember that at the time when I was in boot camp, I think Michael Jackson just passed away,
Oh,
So
gosh.
it was kind of like, oh my God, what's going on?
Did you know that when you're in boot camp or no?
Yeah, one of the officers from our company actually told us
Oh, okay.
when we were doing inspection that he told us, but we were just like all weirded out, like what?
Did you guys think it was a joke or?
Yeah, initially we were like,
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
he's probably lying or whatever, but it definitely was. It was true. Certain songs. I'd never heard before. Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy, because you're out of the loop,
Certain
Yeah,
movies and stuff.
Yeah, movies. But like anything else, you'll catch up.
Yeah.
Of course. Now tell me this: did you guys ever get any care packages or anything like that? Any goodies?
Oh yeah, so much. Yeah, I'm telling you, just from snacks to hygiene gear to anything you want, playing cards, things like that. Initially, when you do sign up for those type of programs, you can't ask for anything crazy like video games, things like that.
Yeah, no.
No, you just ask for basic necessities, But when you do get them, people do go overboard because it's pretty cool because you get so much stuff. And then usually what I used to do is if I got like 3 care packages, I would take whatever I needed, but I would just disperse it to the squadron. So it's cool. So everyone got stuff.
And family and stuff can send you stuff, right?
Yeah, the family, they can send you anything that's concealed. You can't have any rubbing alcohol, things like that, or Listerine. That was a big no-go because that's like a form of alcohol type deal.
Right.
So that was a no-go. You can't have that, But other than that, you can have pretty much, you can get anything you want. Movies if you want it, So.
Were there ever times that you got like a cold or like sick and you were just like, annoyed with yourself, like a stomach virus or something? How do you deal with that if you're deployed?
Oof, man, when you deploy, you just gotta suck it up and just, you just gotta fight through it. I don't think I ever did get sick. I was kind of lucky in that sense.
That's good.
I didn't get sick, but if you did, or if let's say you're really feeling bad, depend usually with your unit. And in your shop, because within my shop, we were really close. If if it was like a real bad case, or let's say with the flu, they would be understanding. Because my staff sergeant, really cool guy. Staff Sergeant Geronimo, real cool guy. He was very understanding. He was a true leader. When you talk about a true leader, he was a true leader.
Yeah.
Like that man, I would definitely take a bullet for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Now, what were his qualities that made him such a good leader?
For him, it was just he was the type of individual where you would just attract to him. He would gravitate towards him because he was just so understanding. He was outgoing. He would listen to you. He was the type of person where he will put you first before himself. So he was selfless. There was no selfish part of his body at all. He was all about family. He was all about the community, things like that. So that he definitely made an impression on me.
That's good.
Yeah. So he was definitely a good man. And I also had a sergeant, really cool guy too. He's from Washington State, real nice guy. So everyone I was around was just really good people.
And now you're a sergeant, right?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the rankings and like where you start and like what you have to do to kind of get to the top?
Okay. Well, what you gotta do is you just have to, you have to abide by the rules. Like anything else, you have to accept the system for what it is. If you go against the grain, you're just gonna have a harder time. So, to pick up a rank, especially in the military, or in the Marine Corps, you just have to, you have to, pass PFTs, which is physical fitness training. So it's 3 miles. You have to run in less than like 28 minutes for men. Pull-ups, sit-ups, things like that. That's key for us for promotions. Another thing too is you got to take a certain test. To get promoted, things like that. So everything takes time. So they're not just gonna give it to you if just because they like you. It's not like that. Everything is just time oriented. So you really gotta put in some work. Usually gotta go through courses like corporal's course, sergeant's course to also get it promoted. That's also like a little mini boot camp for 3 weeks. You gotta do that.
You start off as private, then Lance Corporal.
Well,
right?
Private first class.
Private first class, yeah.
And then Lance Corporal, then Corporal, Sergeant, then Staff Sergeant, all the way up to the highest you can make is enlisted is Sergeant Major. So it's definitely it takes time. For Sergeant Major, usually it takes about, let's say, 16 to 20 years to get to that rank.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah.
And now what about generals? 1st star, 2nd star, all the way up to 5-star. I wonder how long their careers have been.
Oh, very long, very long. If you notice, there are not too many young 5-star generals.
Yeah.
I think you got that right.
They're a little bit older. But it takes time. Anything else is just dedication. If it's something you want, you can achieve it. But it's definitely it's a good, it's a good process they have. I definitely can't complain because they pick the right people for the right, ranks, things like that. They definitely do scrutinize, make sure that you're the right fit for that rank. Once you pick up corporal, it's, that's it. That is the starting of the leadership position. So that's when you really gotta buckle down and focus on what you want to do and how you want to be portrayed within the squadron and your peers, because that is a key rank right there.
Now, can you refuse going up a rank? Let's say you want to stay at a certain rank.
I guess you could, but I've never met someone that really wanted to refuse to pick up, because a lot of people want to pick up because you make more money, you get more prestige in the sense that you get more respect, things like that. So a lot of guys, everyone's hungry to pick up, and it's so competitive.
Yeah, it makes sense too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely competitive. If let's say you mess up, let's say you get a DUI, that's huge. That's the worst thing you can get when you're enlisted, because they will they'll get you. That's big. That's huge, because not only do you get punished from the military, you also get punished through the civilian sector too, because let's say you get a DUI out in town, the cops, the San Diego police or whatever, pull you over, stop you, arrest you, right? But you just don't get punished there. You also get punished through the Marine Corps, which is the USMC, and they'll also punish you, and usually get your rank reduced. Pay half stipend. So it hurts.
Yeah, that seems like it does. It hurts the wallet, it hurts the bank, hurts you and your reputation.
Absolutely. So that's the thing. That's why they make sure that, hey, when you're out in town, you have to act accordingly, and don't act a fool, because like anything else, there's always someone watching.
Yeah.
Always. Just because you're out in town, you're by yourself, or whatever, you're not gonna do whatever I want. No. There's always somebody watching. You always gotta be on point.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. You never know, and it's crazy, because you see these young kids going in 18, 20 years, 19, real young, and they're not when you have all this responsibility
at such a young age.
Yeah, it's it can weigh on you.
It's stressful.
Yeah, it gets real stressful. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I wanted to ask you as well. What's the feeling like when you get home from deployment, and then you of course you got your family with you. You're still in some sort of uniform, right?
Yes, you're in your camis. Yeah.
And how does that feel when you just realize you're home?
Well, initially it's a little surreal, because you're just like, oh wow, I made it, I finally made it. This is it. Yeah. 7 months, going through all this, crap or whatever, and it's over. It's definitely something where it's the first thing you really do appreciate is just like the fresh air, everything. There's people around you. You see, you're like you said, your loved ones. You appreciate everything so much more. So it's a great feeling. I'm telling you, it's a awesome feeling. It's like winning a championship game. You get so excited. So
what was the thing like besides family, like the most materialistic thing that you missed the most when you were away in Afghanistan?
Oh God, to be honest with you, it was my own room.
Your own room,
because you're confined in like almost like a trailer. When I was there, and you're in a room with like 8 other guys.
Yeah.
So there's no privacy. You don't.
Not in the least.
No, nothing. So and then you also get guys from different shifts coming in, making noise or whatever. Yeah. So you hardly really get good sleep. So it's like this, this is annoying, But that's the one thing I miss is my own room.
Was there like quiet. A food that you missed the most, like Chipotle or McDonald's?
Oh man, yeah. Oh man, to be honest with you, the food that I missed the most, and San Diego was really good, was a chicken fillet. It was like it was like almost like a fast food place, but they made
the Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, yeah.
That's not good.
Man, that and oh God, there was another place too that was really good, but I forget the name. But yeah, there's things like that, just little things. But to be honest with you, we got a pretty cool good snacks, from our families, things like that. So it wasn't too bad,
That's good. What was the one thing that you needed? Like, if you ever got a care package, what was the number one thing that you hoped for that was in that package?
Oh man, to be honest with you, it was just soap.
Soap.
Just body wash.
Yeah. Deodorant.
Yeah, you need because you need
some Old Spice.
Yeah, you need to stay
Spice.
clean. You need to stay clean. Because it's very important, because you could get sick, things like that.
Yeah.
So one thing is just
hygiene's number one, I guess.
Yes, you have to be really, you definitely have to make sure you're clean at all times. Whenever you get the chance. That's the other thing too.
Yeah. That's another factor too. Time.
Yeah.
Everything's time. Yeah. But when you do, you gotta make sure you're on point with that.
Whenever you, like, say you're on the ground in Afghanistan, were you ever, like, scared at one point when you were there? Or, like, really terrified that you thought, like, something bad was going to happen?
Yeah, there are times, especially around that time, there were huge issues with, people. I think it was a YouTube video that went out about a gentleman talking bad about the Quran and saying mean stuff about the Muslims, things like that. So a lot of the Muslim community at that time, 2012 they were really on high. We were on high alert because they were upset about it.
Yeah. So
there was a time where around September of 2012 where it was intense because certain bases were getting hit, things like that.
Yeah.
So. At that time, around September, that was an intense time because everyone was on high alert. It was just you never know if something would occur, and it was definitely a moment where everyone was nervous.
Have you seen the movie Lone Survivor?
I have not actually.
I saw it and it just it made me cry and it was really surreal and I feel like I think that it's really credible because I read the book and the guy who was the lone survivor, he's the one that wrote it, and just it was really incredible. And the fact that like they went through that, and the perseverance that they had, it just shows a lot.
Yeah, it shows a lot. It also shows a lot about their character, how they initially when they did see those individuals that were, the villagers, they were wondering if they should compromise, their position due to the fact, things like that. They were debating on whether, taking them out.
And within minutes, an army of them came. They essentially did the right thing.
They did. But that goes to show you how our military is. They train because.
They have a job. They're not gonna do something that they're not there to do. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. All military branches are all professional. They all, make sure that they're conducting themselves accordingly at all times. And even that story, you can tell, they went through a lot.
I mean, did you read the ending? Do you know anything about that story? Or?
Yeah, I do know a little bit about the story. I'm not in depth. Too much, to be honest with you.
There was actually a villager and his son who saved him, and I thought that was so beautiful. And they went out of their way. They sacrificed themselves. They put their lives at risk to save this Navy SEAL. It's incredible, and he got saved within. There was a villager who took a note that he wrote, and he basically hiked all the way up to the other side of the mountains where their base was to give it to someone, to tell him where his location was. And it was incredible. I mean, this little boy he was teaching him English, and it was so sweet. And the fact that they did that for him. I mean, you hear a lot of bad things, but you don't want to you don't know what to believe. But that I think that was just so beautiful.
That's always heartwarming to hear stories like that. I mean, I remember hearing about, I think it was World War I, where it was Christmas Day. And there was the front lines. You had, I guess, the Allied forces on one side, and then you had Germany and their soldiers on the other side. And there was this one soldier, American, just sitting down reading a book or something, kind of close to no man's land. And someone else came closer from the other side, and they just started to talk. Well, they couldn't really communicate, but they were sharing stuff, showing pictures of their family. Then more people came over, and more people came over, and this was Christmas Day, man, where humans could get together and just say, you know what,
no matter about what's going on, just come together. Yeah.
And
it's a beautiful thing.
So it goes to show you how our military, is very it's a humbling experience. Everyone there is there for a purpose. And even something like that's a compelling story. That shows a lot about how we conduct ourselves. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Should we take another commercial break, guys? I mean, music break.
Yeah. We'll go for a music break right now. I'm gonna give you guys some reggae, guys. We're going down to Jamaica with this one dude, Troy Anthony.